Hey guys, welcome back to my... Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be doing rating fidgets for school part 3. So just let's get into it. So the first thing I see, and yes, these are the things I've been using for my fidget hotel. The first thing I see are 3 poppets, and I'm going to rate everything individually. So, oh, I also have too many puppets. I do not recommend bringing puppets to school because they are noisy, distracting, and big. Cause listen to this mini one. So they are very noisy, and same with these other ones. And if you leave them in your backpack, they can get stolen. Like my friend Frankie from Frankie's YouTube channel. One of her poppets got stolen, and somebody who was borrowing a book from a friend had it had gone written in, and also a journal that my friend had in her backpack had also gone written in. So so never bring like poppets or toys to school unless you're gonna have them in the classroom or like electronics or anything. But yeah, I do not recommend poppets for school just because they are very noisy and they will most likely get stolen. So yeah. Next are needles, and these are color changing. You can bring them to class, but this one, it's kind of like noisy, but this one, it's quiet. So you can bring needles to school if your teachers will let you have them in school. So I do recommend needles, just because they are quiet and they are not distracting. You can be like looking up at your teacher and paying attention, and then you could just be squishing it with your hands. So I do recommend needles. Next are mochis. Poppets I 2 out of 10 recommend. Needles I 5.5 recommend. And next I have mochis, which I 10 out of 10 recommend. I would bring a different one to school every single day, and I could just like squish them in my hands. And I could just, whenever I get stressed, I would squish it. If I had a headache, I would squish it, and my headache would immediately go away. So I 10 out of 10 recommend mochis because they are very tiny and small, and you can keep them in your desk and stuff. So I do recommend mochis. And right here I have 5 of them. One bounced and it landed like that. I'm not even joking. Okay, so yes, I do recommend mochis just because they are very quiet and stuff. And my favorite mochi of all my 32 mochis is this pineapple one, because it is just super cute and I love the color. It's like an orange yellowish, and it's very soft. Next is a wacky track, and I 1.5 recommend this because it is noisy and you have to like pay attention to like do some stuff with it. So I do 2 out of 10 recommend it. And then also, if we turn it into a snapper, I think you need 28 individual little things. Like you need 28 of these little things to make a snapper. I think I did say that in the video. But you have to make it into a plus with your wacky track. And yes, you do have to connect it and then make it into a plus. Like that. And then you fold up all the sides. And then boom, you got a snapper. And if you had a real snapper, so let's just pretend this is a real snapper, but snappers I 2 out of 10 recommend because they are very noisy, and wacky tracks I 1.5 recommend. So I don't recommend them. And then next is infinity cubes. Infinity cubes. They are quiet but noisy, and you kind of do have to keep your attention on them if you're a new player. And they are also noisy, so I like 4 out of 10 recommend them because they are kind of quiet, but yet they're loud and noisy and stuff. Next is pea poppers. I 10 out of 10 recommend them. Or actually, no, I 8.5 recommend them because they aren't that fun, but they are quiet and they're tiny and small. Next is slime / putty. I 0 out of 10 recommend this because it is very sticky. You need to concentrate on it. It's droopy. It's going to get your hands and desk all dirty. Next is an acupuncture ring, and this one did break, but it's still an acupuncture ring, so I just take it out. But broken acupuncture ring, you can just not keep your distraction. You can pull on it and stuff. And then in normal acupuncture ring, you just roll it on your finger, and it like feels nice. So I like 5.5 recommend them because I don't really like acupuncture rings, but yeah, I do kind of like them, and they are quiet and stuff for school. But I 5.5 recommend them. I still keep looking at the needles. I'm like, because they're so fun. Next is a tangle. I 1 out of 10 recommend this because it's noisy and it's big, and you kind of like keep your concentration on it because you keep bringing your concentration back to it because it is so noisy and loud. Then is a simple dimple, and I just have this simple dimple, and I 0 out of 10 recommend this because it is so noisy, and if you have a keychain, it's like so I 0 out of 10 recommend simple dimples and poppets because they are so loud. Then next is a marble and mesh. I 10 out of 10 recommend these because you do not have to keep your concentration, and you can do many things with a simple dimple. You can stretch it, you can bring it forward, you can move the marble, you can play a game with the marble, and you do not have to take your eyesight, or you do not have to concentrate on it. Next is a slinky, and I 2.5 out of 10 recommend this just because it is very flimsy and you keep your concentration on it for playing a game with it. And then next is a bike chain, and I do not recommend bike chains. I rate them about a 0.5 because they are noisy, but yet you do not have to keep your concentration on them. But also they will get stuck and stuff. So those are all the things from my game that I have, my fidget hotel. So let me just put it back in so then I can do more stuff and it doesn't get mixed up. Well, next off, let's do some fidget balls. Homemade fidget balls can be noisy and distracting, so I do not recommend them. Same with like DNA balls, mesh balls, weirdo balls. I actually don't recommend the Neos anymore just because they are so big. So let's put this back. And in another video, I will show you how my fidget organization is because I do have this big thing. Next is fidget pads and cubes. I do not recommend these. I rate them like 1 just because they are very noisy and you keep your concentration on them. Next would be putty and stuff. Not gonna do that. Okay, here we go. So we have pop tubes, and my pop tube is actually over there for my video, but I have a homemade one right here. I 0 out of 10 recommend pop tubes because they are big, they make noise, they are distracting. Like I said, they make noise, which is very, very loud and distracting to other students. They are big. You have to concentrate on them to like get every single little pop and stuff, so I do not recommend them even homemade. So like, listen, it's like, here, let me go get my pop tube. Here's my pop tube. Like, listen how loud it is. Like, imagine how annoying that's gonna be. So 0 out of 10. I recommend pop tubes, even homemade. Next, I have Twisty Pets, and I actually do have quite a few Twisty Pets. I have about 13 Twisty Pets, which is actually my lucky number because that's the date as I was born. But I do not recommend Twisty Pets just because they are so loud and they can be distracting. Next, we have Monkey Noodles. 7.5 recommend these just because they are quiet, but they are long and stretchy, and you might go and hit yourself and make a big commotion. So I do kind of recommend those, but I don't really recommend them. Homemade fidgets, I'm gonna skip through that. Squishies. Depending on how big they are, like these, I would 10 out of 10 recommend, but like a big squishy like this, I like 5 out of 10 recommend just because they are so big. Next, the legendary spinners. Oh my gosh, it's like the camera's controlling them. Like normally they just go wee and spin a circle, but when I put up to the camera, it actually like goes in a circle then reverses. It's so weird. And they never spin this. Oh my gosh, that is so weird. Okay. But next is the spinners, like I just showed you, are 0 to recommend them. They need your focus, you need to spin them, and they're loud. We have dim regular meshes, but then we have water timers. 0 to recommend because they are so big, you watch them to help you calm down. And so if you just look at them, then you're not paying attention to class. So I 0 out of 10 recommend them. Oh my gosh, you guys are turning green. Okay, so the last bin has most of my stuff. So we have slinkies, which I already have raid, so I'm just going to take all the slinkies out because I have a lot. We already did acupuncture rings. I 0 out of 10 recommend a magnet because it will just, it's like heavy and it like makes you not focus on stuff. Excuse me. Bless me. I always say bless me. I 0 out of 10 recommend the snap and click because I made this. Is very loud, very noisy, and you kind of need to concentrate on it. 0 out of 10 recommend these puzzle blocks just because you need to look at them to de-solve them and to solve them, and they need your full concentration, and they are very noisy sometimes. So I do 0 out of 10 recommend. Then my spin and click. 0 to recommend this because it hits like very noisy, and 0 out of 10 recommend. These stretchy guys, I 10 out of 10 recommend because they are so tiny and you can just like stretch them and they don't need your concentration. Slap band, if you're wearing it as a bracelet, it's okay. It's okay, but if you're using it as a fidget, 0 out of 10 because it's so noisy. A pop socket, 0 out of 10 because you gotta concentrate to get it out, put it back in and stuff. Puzzle ball, 0 out of 10 recommend just because you have to focus on it. and you gotta like be like, oh, am I gonna do this to solve it? Am I gonna do this? How do I get here? What's this? How do I solve this? It's just, it takes lots of concentration, and you cannot not focus on it. So there is me rating. There's me rating all of my fidgets. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget, like, subscribe, hit the bell, and share so you never miss another video. Bye.